If you're using those newly weight loss injection to control your weight or even your diabetes, and you should know that you need to keep up with daily exercise because those shots not only make you lose fat, they also make you lose muscle mass. So in order to prevent that, you need to do daily exercise. So you need to keep up with that. Just remember, there are some unknown side effects of those medication that we still don't know about it. But the one I know, that is losing muscle mass, is very important. So make sure you keep up with daily exercise.
Look, if you're taking these medicines like Ozempic, Mounjaro, Zepbound, Wegovy, of course, you should try to exercise. Ideally resistance training, because that's the best for muscle loss prevention. But even if you don't exercise and you take these medicines and it's indicated in you, you're still going to get healthier. It's not technically a side effect, it's just an effect of losing weight in general. These medicines aren't specifically catabolic on your muscle beyond a caloric reduction or a calorie deficit. I do agree we should be promoting resistance training and exercise in general. It's good for you regardless of your weight loss. And yes, we want to protect your muscle as much as possible, but it would be no different than getting bariatric surgery or doing some sort of diet without some sort of exercise component. Again, ideally you would do it, but it's not something that we should fearmonger about these medicines specifically.
All right, so that's Dr. Spencer Nadolski. He's a obesity and lipid specialist. I've been following him mostly on social media for quite a while now. And I just find it super, super strange how fiercely he defends any criticisms leveled against semaglutide. And it kind of is making me a little bit conspiracy pilled and thinking that maybe he has some kind of investment in the drug or something like that. From everything that I know about the guy, which is admittedly somewhat little because I'm mostly exposed to him through social media, everything he does and says is typically above board, but I've never heard him say anything negative about semaglutide, and everything comes with pros and cons. And the funny thing is that the supporters of semaglutide far outweigh the detractors. So it seems like he's shadowboxing. Why is he shadowboxing? In any case, yes, we know that Ozempic and or semaglutide is a very powerful tool for weight loss, but everything comes with pros and cons. Pro, you are going to lose weight because you are going to be less appetitive, right? Con, that is going to make other things harder for you to do, especially if we want to promote exercise, which is extremely important. One of the most important things that we can do, right? Especially in terms of maintaining weight loss. Not everybody is going to be able to stay on semaglutide. The stuff is not cheap. And even if it does get cheap, why would you want to have to live your life on a drug? The ideal is that you want to be able to live in the food environment that we currently have. And taking semaglutide will affect your relationship with food. If you do not address your fundamental relationship with food, if you have a high appetitive drive, you will not succeed in this food environment once you go off the drug.
It's not technically a side effect, it's just an effect of losing weight in general. These medicines aren't specifically catabolic on your muscle beyond a caloric reduction or a calorie deficit.
The fact of the matter is, it's not just the fact that semaglutide will put you in a caloric deficit. It's because of how it puts you in a caloric deficit. It puts you in a caloric deficit by affecting your appetite, your relationship with food. That's a very important distinction to make because a lot of doctors are prescribing the drug to people, and not only are they not helping them with exercise protocols, but they're not helping them with psychological protocols as well. You have to be able to survive in this food environment without the drug at some point. Most people. Some people will be able to take the drug indefinitely. That's not going to be everybody. And those people that are not able to take the drug indefinitely, they will be at high risk of recidivism without the proper lifestyle factors in place. At the moment, doctors are not helping patients with that because they're not equipped to help them with that. That's not their job. So not only is the weight loss important, you don't want to just lose weight, you want to lose body fat. You want to maintain muscle mass. And because of how you're losing weight on Ozempic, that's very difficult because if you don't have the appetite to eat enough to maintain muscle mass as you lose weight, that's going to be a struggle, right? You don't want to have to force feed yourself. Bodybuilders struggle with force feeding themselves to gain the masses that they have. How is a normal person supposed to force feed themselves when they are trying to maintain their muscle mass as they lose body fat, right? And add to the fact that they probably don't know how to exercise or exercise effectively. Not only that, because you lack the appetite and you're taking in less calories and you will be in a deficit, you won't be able to train as hard. So just saying that the person is going to be overall healthier just because they lost weight, that's not necessarily true. Think about bariatric surgery and the high rates of recidivism there. People get the surgery and then they go out into the food environment without changing their habits. They don't exercise. They don't really change the types of foods that they eat. And then a lot of the times, 20 to 30% of the time, people gain the weight back. And the danger of that with semaglutide is just the same. Your muscle mass is correlated to your quality of life, no matter what stage of life you're in, but especially as you get older. Having more muscle mass lowers the risk of all known causes of mortality, whether it be diabetes, whether it be a slip and fall, whether it be getting into a car crash, whether it be neurodegenerative diseases like multiple sclerosis. Exercise and muscle mass are correlated, but not directly. I see people exercising all the time without gaining any muscle tissue every day, right? And that's because typically their nutrition's not on point, their sleep's not on point, or they're not working out hard enough, or some combination of all three of those things. And being in a caloric deficit can make all of those things harder, especially if you don't have an appetite to potentially address them and moderate them. So, I just kind of wanted to say that because, let's not treat Ozempic like it's just pure magic. There's pros and cons to everything. There's pros and cons to trying to diet the traditional way, and there's pros and cons to taking something like semaglutide. I work with a number of clients that take the drug. Some of them don't like the way they look on the other side of it because they just weren't able to consistently feed their muscle mass because they just didn't have the appetite for it on the drug. That's something they chose to live with. Your muscle mass is precious. You don't want to lose it, especially if you're 55 and older. If you're someone that feels like they can lose weight without taking semaglutide, highly recommended you take that route. If you have access to semaglutide, take that route as well. But make sure that unless you plan on taking it indefinitely, that there's some sort of plan for an off-ramp, because if the drug is not there forever, for the rest of your life, and you have to live in this food environment, your appetite is going to change once you stop taking the drug. And if you don't have the proper habits in place to survive the food environment without the drug, not only will the weight that you lost come back, any ailments associated with that body fat that you had will return as well. So just some food for thought. Stay safe out there. Happy New Year all. Take it easy. Peace.